Is this what the third temple might look like? It might. Let's take a look at something. The first Noahide Congress is meeting in Jerusalem November 2nd through the 4th of 2026. This is a rendering of the third temple on one of the official Noahide websites. And this is a flyer talking about the upcoming congressional meeting. You can see the picture looks very similar to the one they show on the website, and a little bit of research said that is indeed a rendering of the third temple. A side-by-side view, you can kind of see it. This Noahide law movement was founded around the 2000s, the early 2000s to approximately 2010. They say that's because non-Jews contacted this rabbi who's in charge of this Noahide Congress meeting, seeking monotheistic guidance without becoming a Jew, also called a righteous non-Jew. They believe they have a biblical destiny to be a light to the nations and to build a unified legal structure. Their website quotes Zechariah 2:15. Many nations shall join themselves to Hashem in that day and shall be my people. They say, this is the day, we invite you to be part of it. The official flyer says, you won't sit in an audience, you'll help to set a cornerstone meant to outlast everyone in the room. They say there are 6 continents which will be involved in this, and the United States is included. There are 5 pillars to the Noahide laws: positive identity, structured membership, ritual and cycle, authority. The communities of Noah put their names to a single founding document, the moment a scattered faith becomes a movement with a record. The countries involved are Japan, India, Colombia, Nigeria, Philippines, France, and the United States. These are the 5 pillars. I won't read them all, but one of them sounds especially interesting. Structured membership, a 3-stage path. First, you have your personal intent, then you have a self-declaration, and then you have an official declaration. The official declaration is before the Beit Din. That means a house of judgment. Also looking at number 4, authority. Rabbi Ori Cherki and the International Beit Din, House of Judgment, formally established at the Congress with regional dayanim, that means judges. Side note about that rabbi is he teaches Jesus is completely unnecessary to connect with God or to access the spiritual light of Israel. He has stated in the past Christianity is now obsolete and invites Christians to drop their belief in Jesus and embrace a biblical identity as a Noahide. One of the websites even offers a Welcome to the Third Temple film, Step Inside the Third Temple. It's not built yet, but you can experience it now for $16. Noahide Academy says the Third Temple will be fully open to the nations of the world. The Cohen priest will accept the sacrifices because the Noahides cannot enter the inner court. The NoahideWorldCenter.org website has a preliminary Noahide self-declaration personal pledge one can sign and fill out to send electronically now. They call it a digital declaration. It's from a book called A Covenant of Peace. The declaration says that one would agree to uphold the 7 universal Noahide laws. They believe these laws were given to Noah, and the laws were intended for all mankind. There's a prohibition against idolatry in all its forms, and please note there's a little asterisk after the word idolatry. We'll look at that in a moment. It's against blasphemy, murder, theft, sexual immorality, prohibition against eating the limbs of a living animal, and establishing courts of justice. That one sounds a bit like the Georgia Guidestones. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Another one of the Noahide websites has their own pledge, and theirs says that you pledge your allegiance to Hashem, God of Israel, creator and king of the universe, and to God's Torah, pledging to observe the 7 laws of Noah in their details according to the oral law of Moshe under the guidance of the rabbis. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, God, King of the universe, who has given me life, supported me, and sustained me till this day. The first declaration we looked at says every person has an obligation, that word obligation, to accept the binding validity of these 7 that were commanded to the descendants of Noah. Aside from accepting the validity of these laws, each person is obligated to observe them in practice. The definition of obligation is a course of action you are required to take, usually due to a legal, moral, or social requirement. It acts as a binding constraint or duty. Now let's look a little closer at the prohibition against idolatry in all its forms. The disclaimer says it is important to note that if you believe that Jesus is God or an incarnation of God, you would not be able to make this declaration sincerely. The Hebrew tradition is clear that God is one and cannot become a human form ever. Please accept our wishes for a blessed life, and may you continue learning the Bible with us. Some say it's a conspiracy theory that the punishment is beheading. On the Noahide.org website, it says under point 16 that the court is to administer the death penalty by the sword, i.e. decapitation. So hopefully they'll allow people to have a blessed life and continue to study the Bible and not face that judgment. No guarantees, however, based upon what I am reading. Under the section for idolatry, it says it's against entertaining the thought that there exists a deity besides Hashem. There has been some recognition of the Noahide laws in America. Here's a picture of Ronald Reagan meeting with some of the rabbis, signing it in. Other presidents have also had some mention of it. So it was not just Ronald Reagan. Public Law Joint Resolution dated April 6, 1990. Whereas these ethical values and principles have been the bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization, when they were known as the 7 Noahide laws. I know many people get very excited at the thought of a third temple because they believe the rapture is soon to come and they won't be here to see it. My own personal understanding is that is not what is going to happen, although I do hope I am incorrect and everyone else who believes in a pre-tribulation rapture is correct. Nonetheless, it's important that we continue to stay in the Bible and read the Word, pray, and be prepared mentally for whatever may come. And may you all be blessed.